Get the comfy chair!
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Your host, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
So today we are doing a comfy chair. So do you mind if I jump on first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my first one is I finished the entire run of Doctor Who with John Pertwee. So the third Doctor. So, yeah, there were some real highlights and lowlights. One thing I will note is, John Pertwee's a fairly serious actor. It's kind of hard to act through the Doctor Who-ness of it sometimes.
Yeah, he's got that Christopher Lee quality where it's like he's taking it absolutely dead seriously, even though he's saying the most ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, he definitely does that. And Capaldi was good at that too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he does that. But he does gurn a lot. He does pull silly faces. Almost every story.
He's also like Wurzel Gummidge, so he's a comedic screwball actor.
He is comedic. I mean, he was in Carry On Screaming as the scientist guy who was trying to work out what was going on with a finger, for example. So he's got a comedy pedigree anyway. But he does this. But I'll tell you what, some of the highlights. Now, he had three assistants. Liz Shaw, that everyone doesn't really remember. Jo Grant, which probably up until the last 10 or 20 years was the most famous Doctor Who companion. Jo Grant. Everyone remembered Jo Grant, right?
Yeah.
And then Sarah Jane Smith, who's probably the second most famous.
I know she's moved into the first position.
I think you're probably right.
Sarah Jane Smith got a spin-off. Jo Grant didn't.
Yeah. So. And everyone and because of that, and also because she returned now and again in various guises, Sarah Jane Smith is kind of very well remembered and well regarded.
To be fair, Jo Grant did return in one of the Sarah Jane Smith
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
We need to watch all of those at some point.
But Jo Grant was really good, and Sarah Jane's really good too. Liz Shaw was a bit not quite. She was just I think the actress didn't quite gel with the whole vibe that was they were going with, or maybe it's more like they got a slightly different vibe when Jo Grant arrived, and it kind of worked a bit better. It's a bit like Tennant and Donna. It's that kind of thing. There's something gelled, and it kind of works. Yeah. Though Tennant's had some, good assistants too, obviously. Yeah. With Rose and stuff.
Free Rangeman and Catherine Tate.
Yeah, indeed. So some of the highlights of Pertwee's ones. Pertwee's ones was really riffing on both kind of Quatermassy kind of stories and Hammer somewhat, though Tom Baker's run would see a lot more Hammer infusion into their stories. Really dark. And Mary Whitehouse, who was like the, guardian of the nation, everyone, she got on everyone's nerves because she was always complaining.
The moral.
We're going about how horrific Doctor Who was, and of course, us kids loved that. So we loved Doctor. That's why Doctor Who was peak with Tom Baker, because not only was it Tom Baker, they were doing all this horror stuff, and it was great. But some examples of some of the most famous stories. There's the two Auton stories, which is Spearhead from Space, which is properly riffing on Quatermass 2, and then I think it was called Terror of the Autons. The Spearhead from Space was the very first episode where John Pertwee was in, and it was a really good story. And then Spearhead from the second Auton story was the next season's beginning story. So Autons was a big deal, as was the Master. The Master was massive in the John Pertwee era. Unfortunately, the actor died. Roger Delgado died just before John Pertwee actually finished. So Master did not continue, but though he came back, obviously he was in the TV movie of the which one? Seven?
I know he had a couple of other run-ins with the other Doctors.
Yes, he did, but the Master was like big in the John Pertwee era. But the Autons were a famous story. The Silurians was a famous story, which again the Silurians came back in the more recent series. The Green Death is very famous.
Oh yeah, the
gri-
flies. Yeah.
The flies and the giant maggots.
Yeah,
The
it's
fly
giant
was
maggots.
kind
There's
of
one
goofy.
fly. But
Yeah, the giant green maggots was kind of and possibly my very first memory of Doctor Who as a kid. So I must have been about 6, I think, looking at the dates it was aired, 6 or 7 when that one aired. There was also Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which I thought was really exciting, and the Demons. I think the real standout story for me in the John Peter era is one called The Demons, where they're positing, this demonic race actually helped to create mankind and seeded civilizations throughout the universe, but they're a very harsh race that look like the devil, right? That do visit their progeny every 50,000 years or so, see how they're developing it, and if not developing along satisfactory lines, the demons totally annihilate that race. That's what they're like, right? And they're here to do that estimation. But it's all tied up with black magic. So there's a bit of Quatermass in the pit. There's a bit of the devil rides out. There's the master is doing all this kind of occult stuff to conjure them, because that's how they communicate with them. It's all that kind of, aliens in the past somehow affected us. It's that idea. So it really infuses it, and again, that's Joe Grant. And then there were some later ones where Sarah Jane appears, and of course we get the Brigadier and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a very but for budgetary reasons, Doctor Who stopped going to other planets, pretty much. And it was
to
all
be
about.
fair, that did allow it to have like a lot more varied monsters.
Yes.
Because I've seen like a big, like, literally just a picture list of all the aliens that are encountered over Doctor Who, and you can see it starts to pick up in variety around 3. Because there's a lot of, we're this alien species, we just happen to look exactly human.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a bit of that. There's some really weird ones. There's almost Shakespearean ones. There's one called The Curse of Peladon, where it's almost Shakespeare. The sort of, it's a court, and they're talking in a very highfalutin way, and Jo gets mistaken for a princess, so she starts acting like a princess, which is kind of funny, and stuff like that. And also there's also emphasis on not just aliens, but it's other earthbound races emerging, like the Silurians and the Sea Devils, for example. Yeah. And I think there's been a very recent episode in the new Doctor Who with the Sea Devils.
The most recent one was the Sea Devils.
Yeah, and they do look goofy when they're walking around, the Sea Devils. Yeah. They do. They look proper silly. But it's still a kind of fun episode. So yeah, I really enjoyed the Pertwee era. I think he. I have to mention the Three Doctors. It's the first time they have multiple Doctors fighting a common enemy. So obviously we have Troughton and Pertwee on the same set doing a lot of fun stuff together, but also I forgot his name. William Hartnell. He was very ill at this time, so they couldn't have him on set. But what they did is they said, I'm stuck in a transdimensional rift, so I can only advise you through the TV. And I think he had dementia or Alzheimer's or some issue, so he could only remember the shortest of lines. So they basically recorded him in a studio talking as if he was talking, but he was still delivering. He was, is this what I've become? A dandy and a a clown, or something like that. Man, that was really good. Yeah. A really good run. So I am starting the Tom Baker run now. He's got 40 individual stories, and I watch one a week. So this, in 40 weeks' time, I'll be talking
talk about this next year.
We'll be talking about this next year. So Tom Baker. Yeah. So that's my first one
coming up. Oof.
Yes. Over to you.
Okay, so my first one is actually a fan work. Like it's a fan made, some fan made content for the World of Darkness, which is actually the same thing as that Battle Royale you showed me. The vampire one.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, it's called Hunter the Parenting. It's about the small family that goes around hunting vampire. Well, they basically just act as professional ghost hunters, and they're just like real weirdos. But the like meta narrative of this is it's actually, you may remember it was probably a while ago, I mentioned a Warhammer 40,000 fan series that got shut down.
Yeah.
And then they basically, because Games Workshop put out a thing saying we're not allowing any more fan animations because they were starting their own streaming service.
Shame, isn't it? It is a shame.
It's really stupid. So what they did was they just lifted like the character roles almost. And just put them in the Vampire the Masquerade setting and just did a different story. So you can't.
Okay.
If the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, it's functionally just the Emperor, Magnus, Kitten, Dawn, and Boy, and then they have similar names. So it becomes Father, Marcus, Dor. They never actually give the Kitten character a name, but and Boy.
So they retooled something to produce this, right?
Yeah, they retooled characters into a new setting from what it would seem, full permissions of the setting owners. So this is like low-level canon, almost.
Cool. I do like. There is definitely some fan stuff I really like. There's some really cool, like Batman ones, for example.
Yeah.
And Star Trek ones too. But, tell us about. Is it funny or what? What is it?
It's a very funny, goofy thing. So there's a bit because it's all about hunting vampires. There's a whole bit where a vampire like lunges at a guy after getting this guy's got his face like punched about 20 times through various comedic shenanigans. He proceeds to grab the guy and goes, "You've made me all so angry. I'm hungry." And he starts drinking the guy's blood.
Oh, wow.
And all these people are like panicking. It's like, oh God, they've got the strongest guy. Oh no. And the guy just goes, "So good, I'm fucked off my head on DMT." And the vampire's pupils just go really big. They just proceed to like stake the hell out of this vampire. Sort of comedic memes. But yeah, it's just finished its first like mini arc of 3 episodes. It's got like some side stuff. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my phone. I'll turn it off.
I'll just repeat the last bit. It's got some side stuff which like world builds a bit. If you don't know much about the setting, it does some stuff for that, and it also there's just some character development stuff. It's similar stuff that they used to do with the Emperor had a text-to-speech device.
Okay, I don't know that, but yeah.
Yeah, I have definitely brought it up. It's a fun show. I also recommend that.
Yeah, I recognised the name, but I can't place it. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
So that's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's all on YouTube.
I might give that a go. I might watch a couple and see what I think. Because you've given me some solid recommends recently. So now we don't always find the same things funny, but often we do. So it's always worth a look when you recommend stuff. I think so. Okay, my next one is Remo Williams. Sometimes called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Sometimes called Remo, Unarmed and Dangerous. This is a film and a kind of action adventure starring Fred Ward. Fred Ward, who passed away recently. And I've always really liked him in a couple of movies. And I like him in everything I've seen him in. But there's 2 specific things I like him in. And one's Remo and the other one is... the worms. The worms one. Tremors. I was going to say grabbers, but that's a different thing. Tremors. Graboids is Tremors, isn't it? Yeah.
Reminds me. I need to rewatch Dune. The second part's going to be some point.
Yeah. It'll be coming out soon. But Remo. Let's call it Remo. Now, I think there's 2 cuts to this, and depending on which one you see, one's way more violent than the other. So it's almost like a TV cut and an original cut. And as I say, it's got 2 names. Now, the idea is this was going to be kind of a franchise. That it was kind of designed that way, but it got it didn't do that well, so they didn't continue, which is a shame because it's really fun. Now, the idea of it was almost like a blue collar, working class American James Bond. That was kind of the idea. So much so, it was directed by Guy Hamilton, who directed, I think, 4 different James Bond films, including things like, I think, Live and Let Die.
Yeah, Live and Let Die. Man, this guy had a very good track record.
Yeah, Guy Hamilton directed it. And not only did Guy Hamilton direct it, it was written by Christopher Wood, who screenwrote Spy Who Loved Me, one of the best Moore ones, and Moonraker, one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah.
which was a weird rehash of Despo Love Me, actually. But never mind. So, and it was purposely designed, and it was based on a series of books called the Destroyer series, which I've read the first one, and it's pretty good. Where essentially the whole thing is a kind of this guy's a kind of a secret agent, undercover, off the radar kind of guy, but he's being trained by this martial art expert called Chun, a Korean martial arts expert who claims to be. Well, no, not claims to be, is the world master of a martial art called Shinanju. But what he does claim is that all other martial arts are mere reflections of Shinanju. Yeah. Shinanju's the big one. And the way they present Shinanju in this is not wrong, right? It's amazing, the things he can do. Unfortunately, it's in this day and age, it looks a bit because the Korean martial arts expert Chun is played by a white American with yellow face called Joel Grey. Joel Grey is a great actor who's been in lots of things, probably most notably the compere in Cabaret. He did a fantastic turn as the compere in Cabaret, but he's also a great Chun. Basically this martial arts, this guy before he's Remo, he's like this cop, but he's like a Vietnam vet, black ops guy, but he's become a New York cop, and he accidentally gets in there he's trying to do an arrest and it goes wrong, and we see that the guys that run this organization he's going to work for actually deliberately set him up, push him in the river. So it looks like he's drowned, but then they give him plastic surgery so he's not as ugly, and he becomes basically Fred Ward. And there's stuff like, so you've set me up. What's my name? And he goes, well, we've given this a lot of thought. We've put a lot of thought into this. And he looks at the bottom of a bedpan. And it says Williams Remo Company. And he goes, yes, your name's Remo Williams. It's a bit, kind of Soze kind of, look at the bottom of a cup and that's the answer kind of thing. So he's Remo Williams, and they take him to Chun and say he's going to. They give him an assignment. It says your first one is this guy, and you got to go in. And he goes in this apartment, this weird warehouse apartment, and all there is this little sort of Korean guy sitting there eating some rice, and he says, "Where's your boss?" He goes, "I am alone." And he goes, well, sorry, dude. And he starts to try and shoot him, but he can duck bullets. He can move, so he misses bullets, and then he just basically takes out Fred Ward. And then the governor, one of the guys that run this organization, I can't remember its name off. Cure, that's it. Cure, it's called. Sort of say, what do you think? He goes, he has the reflexes of a arthritic baboon. He just starts insulting him in a massive way. And he says, do you think you could do something with him? He says, I see some potential. And later on they sort of say, how long do you think it'll be before you get ready? He goes, 15 years. He goes, 15 years? He goes, yeah, well, if I cut corners, maybe 10. Because now we've got a job tomorrow. It's like that. But he's doing all this mad training, jumping over things and fighting and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Chun does stuff like watch soap operas, but instead of sitting on the floor, he's just got one finger from each hand pointing into the floor.
That's what I remember. I've remembered seeing some sort of martial arts expert just sort of sat up, holding himself off the floor with just two fingers. Couldn't remember what it was from.
That's this.
That's this. Okay.
Yeah. And also we get Wilfred Brimley, the bloke that always looked about 80. That guy as another sort of head director of Cure. And they're basically an off-the-books agency. They do things the legal system stuff, but they can do things that no one else can do. Basically assassinates, right? And they're saying, and Fred Ward's disgusted. He goes, Fred, I thought we were doing some sort of public service here, but this is just assassination. And Shun's like, assassination is the highest form of public service. It's like that. And meanwhile, this basically dodgy sort of military supplier is doing all this underhand stuff to sort of make money off the American government by providing dodgy weaponry, and things like that. But meanwhile, a female officer in the US Army, played by Kate Mulgrew. Who's kind of also investigating them, so they kind of coincide. And she kind of keeps crossing lines with Remo and so on, but it's good fun. And apparently they did cut a whole major action set piece right at the end, James Bond like kind of action set piece at the end for budget, so they had to scale it down. But I'll tell you what, the ending's great. There's all sorts of stuff in it, like Chun's just spouts all this stuff. He goes and he says lesson, and every lesson he goes, lesson 3, 2, breathe, and things like that. He goes and he's going, he says, yes, if you want to be with a woman, you have to do lesson 22, where you can get a woman into the highest state of ecstasy. And he goes, what lesson is that? He goes, lesson 22. He goes, can we do lesson 20? It's all this kind of thing. And at one point, he meets Kate Mulgrew's character, and he says things like, women should stay home and make babies. And he goes, you're another one that thinks like you then. And like she's nagging them both, and Chun just gets her wrist and taps it a few times. She passes out from ecstasy. And he goes, continue, my son, and stuff like that. And right at the end, there's all sorts of weird, montages, a bit Rocky like of him training. And at one point, he's also learning to run so he leaves no footsteps in wet sand. And at one point, he actually runs across wet cement, and guys chase him and just fall into the cement. But right at the end, Chun is kind of trapped by all these soldiers across a waterway, and Remo and the lady are on this boat, and they're kind of, oh no, they've trapped him. And Chun just runs across the water. He just runs across water and gets to the boat. And he goes, Chun, you're amazing. He goes, no, I am better than that. And then he goes, quick, go home. I need to see what happens in Chuck at the hospital, because he's obsessed with soap operas. It's a really, really fun film. I've got it on Blu-ray, in fact. It's long. It's 2 hours. But it does feel like a sort of a working Joe James Bond kind of story. So very, very fun. 1985 it came out. So you've seen it, right? You have seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it with you.
Right, it was a while ago. Yeah, but
ages ago.
Yeah, that's my little tribute to Fred Ward. A great presence in this film. So yeah. That's me.
Okay, so my next thing is a game called Factorio, which I've probably discussed a couple of times on here. So I occasionally get the itch and I go play it again for a while.
Cool.
What
game is it?
On a base level is a factory building game. You play as an astronaut crashed on a planet. You got to survive.
It's a bit like The Martian, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Since you don't really need food and such. But what you do get is like big pockets of resources and aliens that occasionally come after you. What you also have is a limitless amount of ability to automate. So you can automate the miners, digging up all the metals and such that you need. You can automate the smelters. You can automate the automation chambers. To make more automation chambers, to make drones, to continue building stuff that you don't need to be there for, to continue growing the factory, and it can go on and on and on, and just keep getting bigger. I think in my best one, I had a train that would whiz round the map, pick up loads and loads of iron, bring it back to all one big refinery, where it would get turned into bullets, conveyor belts, so turrets, and more trains.
This sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah, it's a good statistical balancing game. I don't know how best to phrase it. It's like
resource management game.
Yeah, it's resource management, but it's your efficiency building, really. Like it genuinely. There's a thing in 40k where the Mechanicus, the cyber monks that control all the machinery in the Imperium of Man, the machinery is so far beyond them that they don't fully understand what they're doing. I've reached points like that with my factory. I just don't know what's going on with some places. Like I'll see like oil getting piped through the middle of a whole like series of cables. I'm like, where's that coming from? Where's it going?
Yeah.
What's going on?
You lose track, right? And I'm assuming once you have a simple factory, right, and once you're at a certain level of complexity, you've got to add some solution to improve efficiency. You have to add something to improve.
It's not just efficiency, because those bugs that I mentioned,
Yeah.
they get bigger as the place gets more polluted, and all your machines cause pollution. So you got to decide whether you want like turrets. You just want to turtle up and build walls and some turrets, or do you want to like
just keep polluting
risk
the
it a little?
place?
Because they'll come in and they'll start smashing your stuff, and you don't get resources back from things that have been destroyed by bugs.
I have to say, I'm just googling this game, and it's got a massively high rating. I don't think I've seen a higher rating for a game, any game, than this. 4.8 out of 5.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It's one of the few, like, overwhelmingly positive games on Steam. Like, a lot of things are just like, yeah, it's mostly positive sort of thing.
It's quite expensive for a simple... Well, maybe it isn't a simple game, but it's obviously it's doing well because it's still expensive, which means people are still buying it, right? Expensive. Well, 20 quid. How much did you say?
21 quid. Games nowadays are like 50.
That's true. Sorry, I am losing track. That used to be the high-end price, didn't it?
Yeah. This is now like almost an indie game. So.
Yes. And it says here that when you just do the main objective, that one game takes 46 hours in total, which is fine. Yeah. If you want to do everything perfectly, it's 236 hours, which is
there's still arguments to be made that people haven't figured out the perfect like system. So
that's a challenge, isn't it? This sounds a great game. So it's on Steam, right? PC.
Yes. Game. It's on Steam. That's probably the best way to play it. You can play it multiplayer.
I'm probably going to buy this.
You can play it multiplayer if you want to. I've seen a lot of people things of people that have insisted on doing no machinery runs with like 500 people. So they just run in big swarms and all craft stuff by hand and like.
Wow. So there's all sorts of challenges you can set yourself.
And there's also stuff like make the world you spawn on harder. The bugs are immediately bigger. They call it like a death world. There's less resources.
This is interesting. You've caught me at the right time here because I was thinking about getting a sort of a resource management game because I've been looking at Dune Spice Wars, which is coming.
That's another one that
looks really good. But I might dip into Factorio. I was just going to go back to the Warhammer sort of more battle, resource management games to break up because I constantly play battle royale, so I wanted to break it up a bit. But I might buy this Factorio and just give it a go. It doesn't sound like there's nothing wrong with it, and I do like that kind of mechanic too, quite a lot. Cool. Anything else, or shall I?
No, that's all there is really to it. I've literally said this story. You've got to survive on the planet. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole story element. The gameplay is what makes the game, and that's kind of hard to put across. I've done my best, but
yeah.
So,
okay, my next one's a twofer. I'm basically talking about sequels that have appeared many years after the last episode.
You saw Top Gun Maverick, didn't you?
No, I haven't seen it yet. It's not out yet, so I haven't seen it yet. But I'll probably cover that next time. I am going to go see it. But I want to watch the first one first. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I got two. One was really good, and one was okay. Good enough. Let's put it that way. I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I talked about this.
I think you did. Really good. Really great movie. An excellent example. In fact, one of the best examples of a sequel that took place many years after the last one for this timeline, I believe, was probably Ghostbusters 2, right? I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2016, so I don't know if that was part. I think that's a separate, different universe.
One good joke is from Dan Aykroyd. One good joke in that film is from Dan Aykroyd. The rest of it's like them. Apparently, it's them improving on the scenes.
Okay.
And so they keep it just doesn't flow as well.
So. I do want to see it. I do want to go back and see it because I just haven't seen it. And this juiced me for Ghostbusters material, so I think I might go back and see 2016. But it actually juiced me more to just watch the first Ghostbusters, really. a really terrific film. They just did it really well. Everything about, there were references back to the original that were funny, but if you haven't seen the original, it doesn't matter. It was still funny without knowing that, but it was extra funny if you could remember it. It had a Stranger Thing. It was on that.
Well, yeah, it was like half the kids of Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things it had that vibe of joy, nostalgia stroke, energy of something like Stranger Things or the It movie, right? It had that kind of energy to it that just made it totally work for 2021 or 2022, but still had some 80s nostalgia that was kind of fun without wallowing. So I really enjoyed it. The other one I watched, and this one was a surprise. I really wasn't expecting it to be that good. Too good. Was Terminator Dark Fate. Because it was on Disney+.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, it's I'd put it on the same par as T3, right? It's significantly better than Salvation, and it's quite a bit better than Genesis. Though I didn't mind Genesis as much as some people. I thought it was okay.
Everyone gets really angry at Genesis, and I'm not too sure why.
Was it Jai? Is it Jai White?
Courtney?
Jai Courtney. Yeah, Kyle Reese was not.
Yeah, he was a bad Kyle Reese.
I think Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor was okay, but she's not Linda Hamilton. That's the trouble. Linda Hamilton's her own thing. And actually, Linda Hamilton is in Dark Fate too, significantly in Dark Fate. And the whole way it's structured, the bringing back Arnie as the T-800 is really clever and works. They got a different kind of Terminator chasing someone in this, and it's kind of interesting. James Cameron was involved in the plot on this. In fact, this is almost its own timeline. And in fact, you get because you find out Sarah Connor did stop what they call Skynet, but a different AI threat arose and created. And so we've got someone come back from that future telling her what happens. So there's all these threads, and they really work. It's not great. It is nowhere near as good as T2. To me, it feels like T3, quite a bit like T3. But I think the timeline on this is T1, T2, Dark Fate. I don't think it's the same timeline as T3. But I could be wrong. I'd have to.
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. It says John Connor. Stuff happened in '98.
No, I've just realised it definitely isn't the T3. No, it definitely isn't the T3 timeline. But I really, really enjoyed it, and apparently it was planned as first in a new trilogy. I don't know if that's going to precipitate, but I would recommend Terminator Dark Fate is better than you'd expect. That's the best I've ever. And I'm not saying it's great. It's decent and worth watching. The action was coherent. They had some new characters and they were kind of interesting, and I really like what they do. In fact, I'll tell you about the new Terminator. I don't think it particularly spoils it because you find out pretty much straight away. It's a composite of the endoskeleton we're used to and the liquid Terminator of T2, which means it can separate it can act as two different entities.
Oh, okay.
And it rejoins whenever it needs to, but it can act as the liquid. So they're basically almost fighting two Terminators coming at them at the same time when it comes at them. And we've only got a basic old T-800 and also a fighter who kind of knows this kind of Terminator from the future that's come back to tell him what the future's bringing. And and you kind of find out why this Terminator's come back and who they're after and all that sort of stuff. Really liked it. Really solid for me. So, but of the two, Ghostbusters Afterlife is superb, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's me.
Yeah, those sound very fun. Okay, so my next one is an anime movie that's recently come onto Netflix called Bubble. Now, what it sounds an odd one. What it actually is a parkour, sort of post-apocalyptic parkour movie.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, Japan, the middle of Tokyo has this big like a bubble around it.
Yeah.
That for some reason, like all these gravitational anomalies occurred, and they all appear as bubbles.
Okay.
And it's sort of flooded the middle of the city, so it's been cordoned off. But all the like orphans and homeless people, they all moved into the middle of the city because it was like almost fertile ground. It was free real estate.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so they all moved in against the government's orders, and they've started basically doing free running competitions to pass the time.
Yeah.
Through all this ruined terrain and anti-gravity. So it's
And the
it's a lot
anti-gravity is the bubbles, right? The bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles.
have weird effects.
Yeah, but they also sometimes buildings are just floating, sort of thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And basically, it follows this this kid. I'm just trying to remember his name. Hang on a sec. Basically, this kid was like right at the middle of it all when it kicked off, when this event, this weird post-apocalyptic event started, and it blew up Tokyo Tower. So the Tokyo Tower is like at the very middle of it, and it's like in half but still up, and there's like a big cloud of bubbles in the middle. And one day he just finds this girl while running around there.
Yeah.
And she can't really talk.
Okay.
She seems to be sort of made of bubbles.
Okay.
So she like eventually, I don't want to spoil it because it's quite a sweet little movie, but there's a lot of it's heavily storybook Little Mermaid. So
really, so it's kind of a weird variant of Little Mermaid.
Yeah, almost.
So it's about the two, is the bubble world and the real world intersected?
Not as much. Basically, think of Little Mermaid, but as told from the perspective of the prince, almost.
Okay, so so he's found this girl who's
functionally the Little Mermaid, to the point where she even reads the Little Mermaid and starts quoting the story.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
It's a bit like the Iron Giant quoting Superman, right? It's that kind of thing. All right, okay. So, good movie.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. Very pretty movie. They've put a lot of work into the animating all the free running. So,
it says it was from 2022, so it's proper recent.
It's recent. It's just come on Netflix, as far as I can tell.
Okay, yeah. I'm just
April 28th. So,
nice.
Yeah.
It's at Wit Studio. It says Wit.
Yeah, Wit Studio. I think they did. Attack on Titan for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the first 3 series of Attack on Titan.
Does it look like Attack on Titan kind of?
It's got that quality of animation.
Quality, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Bubble, right, and that's on Netflix, so anyone can watch that.
Mm.
They got some good stuff coming on Netflix, has to be said. Animation. Season 3 of Love, Death and Robots has just landed on Netflix, so I'll be watching that soon. I really liked the first season. I thought the second season was pretty good as well, but the first one was a real stand-up for me, so I'm looking forward to watching the third season of that. In fact, I might well talk about the third season on our next Comfy Chair. We'll see. Okay, my next one is another twofer on proper cheating, and they're both Marvel TV series. One's relatively old, it's all relative, and one's bang up to date. The first one is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3. I've got around to watching season 3 of Agents. Still first watch for me. Previously, I'd only got sort of halfway through season 2 and kind of life got in the way, so I stopped watching. This one was really fun. They're dealing with things that not just
so they started to move
Hydra.
On to humans, wasn't it?
They're certainly moving on to all right, go on, I'll give it they're basically dealing with something other than Hydra all the time. It's which is a covert organization trying to take over control of the world, pretty much. Then that's all almost all gone, though it has proved to be the mechanism by which this other I'm trying to say it in such a way it's not really spoilery. This extraterrestrial kind of threat, almost. It's not quite that. It's something different. It's a thing that can take control of people and stuff like that. But also, all right, it's dealing with Inhumans. So they're essentially, there's a thing in the universe where there's been a seeding. This kind of goes back to the demons stuff I was talking about. There's been a seeding throughout the universe of affecting certain DNAs of certain races, so that their DNA could be activated and they become something other than what they are. Let's put it that way. And that is a central plot. But there's also there's a certain big bad in this that sort of emerges fairly early in the season, not right at the beginning, but early. And kind of is directing things, and it's got some really good stuff. I had some problems with the seasons as I went through, because some of the central cast actually had to leave the team because of the story, right? But what in fact was happening was they wanted to run a spin-off show with 2 members of the cast, and unfortunately that pilot didn't work out. But those team members didn't come back, and I really liked them, so it bothered me quite a bit. Yeah. But otherwise, it was a good fun show. It's a really solid show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, I'd read in the past, it's up and down. So you get like 3 good episodes, then 1 bad one, or 2 bad one. I'm not finding that. I'm finding them consistently good and interesting and quite exciting. And it's a real team kind of movie. It's not like one person with people being supported. It's the whole team are involved. Ming-Na Wen's, in here. We got what's his name who plays Coulson?
Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg. He's really good. The woman who plays Daisy Stroke Sky, and I'm trying to remember her name. Chloe Bennett. She's really solid. It's got a very, very solid cast, and it really, really works. And things are moving on. All of their relationships are developing. And they're all, when new people come in the team, that has to norm. Do you know what I mean? And when people get lost, that has to norm. And I've got so attached to a lot of the cast that I get a bit bothered when one appears to leave. So that's a sign of a good show, right? So there is that. The next one, I think you talked about last time, or we've discussed it. Moon Knight,
yeah.
I had problems getting into this. I kind of liked it, but it was like so weird. It was so utterly weird. It made WandaVision look like, Tom and Jerry. It was.
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure how much of the last couple of episodes actually happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure about any of the episodes how much actually happened. It was so odd, and because it keeps flipping realities, and so it appears one reality, the stuff you've seen is a dream. And then when you flip back to that, the other ones are like a false reality constructed to make you think that this one's a dream. Do you know what? It's all that kind of stuff.
There's also like gods maybe putting people in pocket dimensions sort of thing.
It's the whole principle of, which I think is from Egyptian mythology, of people acting as avatars for their gods. So a person is an embodiment of a god. They're not the god.
That's where the word avatar comes from.
Yeah, they're not a god, but they are the living embodiment of the god while they're on Earth, kind of thing. So there's all that weird stuff, and it just got weirder and weirder. And it peaked weirdness was probably the end of episode 4. Where a talking hippopotamus appeared.
Let's spoil it.
All right, okay. I won't say any more than that. But I have to say, I really enjoyed the lot. I think it was okay. Episode 4 was a turning point. I started to just relax into the weirdness.
Yeah.
And then I really, really liked episodes 5 and 6. Yeah. So I had real trouble getting on board. But I stayed with it because it's only 6 episodes. It's like I might as well see this to the end because there might be some catharsis in it, but at that point it was like this. I don't really get what's going on here, and I think you just got to lay back and go, let it flow over you. Really, is the best way to experience this. And honestly, 5 and 6 was really great, and there was some really terrific stuff, and the CGI was quite amazing. In places, and there's stuff, when it came on, it was like I never in my life expected to see that on a screen. So there was that going on, and I have to also say Moon Knight, when he flies, he's the coolest flying thing in anything. You know, he's cooler than Superman. He's cooler than Iron Man. He just looks really cool when he's flying.
You're saying this because it's basically the same as when Batman glides.
Kinda, but even cool. There's something
Because
about
he's
his
actually
outfit.
flying.
I
And
did
the fact
also,
he makes it into a big moon. So
yeah, I also love the fact that his outfit changes based on what's going on. I won't say more than that. So that is kind of funny. I also
I think it's the truest MCU costume. Like it's the truest to the comic book
what it's meant to be. Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It's a
like
bit
don't
mummy-ish,
mess
isn't
about.
it?
Yeah, well that's
So
the
nice.
idea.
Yeah,
So-
I know. I have to say, I've also heard a bit of criticism for Oscar Isaac's accent, but I'm from London, and I
love
thought it
it.
was fine.
I
I thought
love
it was
it.
just fine. It was definitely not Dick Van Dyke. It was only weird because it was Oscar Isaac talking, and you know what he talks like, right? That's why it was weird. There was nothing actually intrinsically wrong with that accent. It was a good accent. And it was kind of interesting to see London through his eyes too, because it looked like he lived in the busiest part of London, which no way could he afford to live there. There's absolute no way.
It does make sense he'd be able to afford it if he was secretly a mercenary and all sorts of.
There is all that. But I think it's one of those ones I will rewatch, and I will enjoy it way more the second watch, I think.
It's apparently unlikely, but I really do hope that there's a second season. So.
We'll see. Certainly, if there is a second season, I will rewatch this first season before I watch the second one, because I think it's going to be a bit like WandaVision. I think the second watch will be because you'll relax, you'll understand it better, and you'll relax more and enjoy it from the first minute rather than what's going on. Instead of sitting there trying to figure out what's going on, you'll just relax and watch it. Right? Yeah. Anyway, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is a new anime series that's actually just coming out called Spy X Family, or Spy Family, depending on how you're supposed to pronounce it. Not really quite sure. So this is the story of the world's greatest spy, Twilight, and his new assignment. Need to infiltrate a school so you can assassinate this guy threatening the peace between the East and the West. And it's like... the reveal of this mission is he's on a train, and his mission parameters are have a kid. It's like,
okay, so he has to
gotta get this kid into a school, a very high-end school, and get close to the kid of this other guy, this guy that's threatening peace between the East and the West, and then kill him or de-escalate the conflict there. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he does is he immediately goes to an adoption, like a foster home sort of thing. It's like, hey, so show me some kids. Which that sounds sketchy the way I worded it, but he's like, I want to adopt. And he finds a kid who happens to be a telepath. She can read minds. She immediately picks up, realizes as he's thinking like, I gotta figure out which of these kids will help me like maintain world peace. She's like, world peace, and immediately like starts acting the part, and like it's like, I'm prim proper. Amazing. It's very funny.
Amazing.
So so he gets this kid, and then they go to school interviews, and they're like, oh, is the mother involved at all? Because it's such like a prim and proper academy. They do this sort of thing, and they're like, yeah, she just couldn't be here today, so they had to go out, and they're like he's holding like these sort of pseudo marriage interviews to try and find a mother,
right?
And then while he's getting the kid's school uniform fixed, he accidentally bumps into some woman, a single woman who's getting her dress repaired, and they like hit it off, and they negotiate like he's going to appear as her boyfriend so that she can save some face with some friends. And she'll appear as his wife so that the kid can go to the school. Turns out she is like one of the top assassins. She's like a massive bundler outside of anything that's not killing people.
So she's only good at killing.
So there's this shenanigans. It's a shenanigans comedy where the world's greatest spy, the world's greatest assassin, and a psychic child are in the same family, and only the psychic child knows what's going on. But the psychic child is also as much as a bumbling fool as the others. So she's got to now make her way through, like, the highest level of education.
I'll tell you what, from
It's
this
really
premise,
funny.
I am sold. I am sold on this. This sounds great. Is it funny?
Very
it must
funny.
be, right? It must be
Yeah.
funny, right? Okay, this sounds like there's nothing not to like. I hope it's as good as I expect it to be now.
It's very funny. The guy's so stressed out that there's one point where he picks up the girl and he loses concentration for a second and he faints. Like, he just drops to the floor and goes, "Oh, that wasn't good. I lost focus for a moment," and just, like, slowly sits back up.
Yeah. So how many episodes is it?
At the moment, I think it's 5. It's still coming out.
Okay,
You
what's
can
it
watch it
on?
on Crunchyroll, which is the big anime streaming service.
Is that free or is that do you pay?
No, you got to pay. Well, you can get it free, but it comes with ads.
Well, someone like me, I only want to watch this series. But if you're big on your anime, you'd subscribe. But I'm not, so I'd probably see if I can get it for free.
Yeah, currently we're up to the 7th episode. So.
7th? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonder how long it is. I wonder what.
They're like half hour.
No, I mean how long the run. Oh, it says.
Yeah.
Oh no, I found a link to the actual manga.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
manga's been running for quite a while. So
Okay, it says there's 9 volumes in the manga. I was
Yeah.
trying to find the TV show.
Yeah.
Cool.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
It's a
alright.
very fun one. I highly recommend it if you can get your
It
hands.
sounds like a weird cross between Day and Night and Spy Kids and I don't know what. It's
Yeah,
It's got elements from all sorts. It sounds
Yeah.
like. This sounds like a really really fun kind of anime series. I still haven't found anything that touches One Punch Man, but
yeah.
I'm always looking. I'm always keeping an eye out
Yeah.
for something. All right then. Okay, I think that one's up, right? If you got,
No,
any
I've
others?
got one more.
Okay, well I'll do one more then.
Yeah.
I have been watching the Scream franchise.
Oh, yeah.
So I've watched all 5. I've talked about them on the United Nations of Horror. So I'll, if you want to hear lots more about what I thought of them, is there. But yeah, they were quite enjoyable. Scream, the first one, still stands up as the best. It's just so clever and fun, and I think it's helped a lot by Matthew Lillard actually being in it. He's really good in it. In Scream. Have you seen any of them?
No, Scream. It's one of the big like horror franchises that I need to still watch.
Yeah,
it's like Scream, Texas Chainsaw, and Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Oh, Hellraiser. Okay, so Scream. It's kind of it's very meta. It's very 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 meta. It talks about the conventions of horror films all the way through, and each film does its own thing. So, for example, the second one will talk about the conventions of horror sequels, right? That's the same thing. But I really enjoyed the first one, and I kind of enjoy pretty much every film in this franchise. I think they're all okay. I think I'm a bit odd from everyone else because I particularly like 3, and a lot of people say no, it's like 1's the best, and you kind of go in order. There are some fans of the most recent one because it was properly it did not mess about, the most recent one, the 2021 one. It was bloody and strong. It was strong stuff. But I really like 3, which a lot of people don't like. And one of the reasons I like it is it's set around a film being made of the events that
Okay.
it goes on. It's all very meta, but the thing I like about it is the actual characters from the story, played by the likes of Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell and stuff, and interacting with actors and actresses playing them in this film. And there's just this run thing that cracks me up where Parker Posey is playing Gail Weathers, the anchor that reported the first, that's Courtney Cox's character, in the same room as Courtney Cox, and she keeps pretending she is Gail Weathers, like she's a method actress, and it's just really funny seeing Courtney Cox get really pissed off with Parker Posey doing this, and that just made me laugh a lot. But I think I'm on an outlier there. I think most people, it's like the best one, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the order of how good they are. for some people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but you got to watch them and judge for yourself. But I would definitely recommend, if you get a chance, watch the first one, if nothing else. I think it's on Netflix or Prime.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's on one of those where I watched it. It's just watching the first one, you can kind of see where it all comes from. And it's really weird. Every single one uses the initial premise that's in the first one, which is a woman gets a phone call.
Yeah.
From someone who starts asking, and it gets weirder and weirder. But they use that in all 5, but it's effective in all 5, which is a surprise. You think, oh, they're doing this again. Doesn't feel like that. It feels properly tense each time. So used
to great effect in the Scary Movie films.
I was just talk about Scary. I was also going to mention Scary because I watched Scary Movie not the first time, the second time last night as well, because I've been watching all the Screams. So I thought I'd never seen it, but as soon as I started watching it, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. And there's some lines in that make me really laugh. There's one bit where the sheriff's talking. He goes, obviously the death of teenagers is a tragic offence, but shit happens. It just makes me laugh. Stupid lines like that. And the stoner guy, it just makes me laugh. It's just so stupid. The WhatsApp stuff is so dated, but still funny as well. But yeah, you've seen Scary Movies, so you'll know some of the stuff that happens.
Maybe.
So yeah, I mean they riff on it with I think Carmen Electra at the beginning of Scary Movie, right? At the phone call, and she's getting chased. She gets chased and gets down to her skimpy underwear and runs through fountains in slow motion. They're taking the mickey out of being chased in a horror film. Just made me laugh. But I might watch. I've never seen the rest of the Scary Movie franchise. I think there's 5 of them as well, right?
Yeah, I think the third one is Signs. It's basically just Signs. Because Signs was just such a weird film that they just made it again, but it's weird. Yeah,
I might watch Scary Movie 2 soon, and if I like it, I'll carry on until I hit one I don't like, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I might do that as well. So yeah, so that's it. 5. So I've really crammed a lot in here because I've done 2 series, 2 late sequels, and now 5 Scream movies and 1 Scary Movie. Because Scary Movie was going to be the title of the original Scream. It changed to Scream near it just before going out. So obviously the guys that made Scary Movie just took that title, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I definitely recommend the first Scream. It's definitely one to see. It's iconic as a horror movie. It's one of those. Yeah. It's in the conversation of ones you have to really see to understand horror, and the horror franchise. Obviously, it's a comedy horror kind of thing rather than a horror.
Yeah.
Well, somewhat. It's still pretty horrific, but there's some really good stuff in Scream, and Scary Movie was alright to watch again as well. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. So my last one is, it's technically a PlayStation 2 game, but I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch. It is Okami, Japanese for Great God. What this game is a very rough version of Shinto religion, where you play as the sun goddess Amaterasu in the form of a white wolf called Shiranui. You're fighting a great 8-headed serpent, the Yamato no Orochi, and there's several characters from myth that show up that are basically just normal people in this. So you get stuff like Susanoo, Nagi, Nami, that sort of thing. What it plays most like is that sort of Legend of Zelda-esque God of War sort of thing, where it's like half puzzles, half just fighting. But the real gameplay change for this is the Celestial Brush, which as your powers are restored from 100 years of slumber, you get more and more things that you can draw on the screen, literally draw. You press a button, it pulls up a canvas that just is the screen, and you can draw certain things on it, and they'll spawn or happen. So you may draw a little crescent, and it turns the time of day to night. Or a circle, it makes the sun, similar thing. You can cause flowers to bloom. lightning to strike, wind to blow.
Oh, so you can use it to help you
can use
beat
it in
people or
combat as well.
solve stuff. Oh,
Mostly
okay.
you use it for puzzles, but you can like spawn bombs and slash and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really fun game, and I really don't want to talk about the story because it's got such a good story. I don't want to spoil anything about it, like literally anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at some gameplay right now on YouTube,
All the
and so your
visuals
player's a
are
white
based
wolf, right?
Yeah,
Is
all
that
the
right?
visuals are based on classic like Japanese art. So,
And I was going to say the style is such that it's not dated, right? Because it's very stylized.
it's so stylized, it's difficult to date it, sort of thing.
You can't sort of say, "Oh, that's a 2000
This
game."
game was
or
released
something.
in 2006. So
Yeah, it looks decent. You're running around as a wolf, and you're kind of fighting things or working out things, and you're painting on the screen.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it's looking. Cool. That sounds
also
alright. Yeah.
And also freeing the gods from the star signs that they're hiding in, which you literally have to do is you get like, you know, when they whenever someone does like an overlay of like what a zodiac is sort of thing,
And you
it's
think
like
that's nothing like.
it's like you see like 5 stars and the lines between. You just get the lines between, and you've got to fill out the stars, and then it appears, and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Okay, that sounds alright. Yeah. Okay, so that's on the Nintendo Switch, but originally a PS2.
Originally PlayStation 2, it got released on Wii, PS3. I think it's on PC too, and then PlayStation 4. It just keeps getting re-released because it's such a good game. It really is a shame that in its original release, it did really badly to the point where the studio that made it shut down.
I don't know. Sometimes really good games just don't do well. I can never figure out exactly why. It might be that they're riffing on something that's already been and gone. So it puts it. It's a bit like cinema releases, right? If you cinema release on a certain time of year or against a certain film, you just do bad. Like, you know, The Thing did terribly because it came out just after E.T., which was all aliens are lovely, right?
Yeah.
People wanted aliens are lovely, not aliens are horrible monsters. So it's kind of sometimes like that, right? Who knows?
It is kind of weird that Okami. So many people loved it. It got such a following. Like it gets referenced quite a bit. Like there's references in Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising. If you've ever played that, there's loads of references, especially in Platinum games, because that's basically when Clover, which was the studio that made this, got shut down. They all went over to Platinum. And started making games there, and they made Bayonetta and such. So yeah.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, this is a really good game. Highly recommend it. You should play it. So
yeah. I just realised you haven't talked about a single fit. You've talked about anime and games, but that's okay. That's fine. That's what Comfy Chair's for, right? Yeah. I think I'll pivot back to talking about some games next time as well. Actually, but especially if I try Factorio. I don't know when June Spice Wars is coming out, but I am going to be getting that when it comes out.
Oh, it's out.
I thought it was only in beta still.
I think it's in early access, but if you buy it now, you've got it.
Oh, like might get. Oh dear.
Play it. So that's the thing with early access. It's like you can buy it, you've got it, but it might not actually be finished until in a year or so.
I like to wait for its finished. But you know what? I might take it. I might try. Well, I'm not going to buy both, so I might just try Factorio now, and then once June Spice Wars is finished.
Yeah, Factorio is a difficult one to try because it's like you have to do everything yourself for like the first few hours, like a couple of hours.
But you can save the game, right?
Yeah, you can save the game, but it's like I'm playing this automation game, but I have to do everything because I can't get automation yet.
Yeah, I'm used to that. I've played several, I've played X the Unknown, for example, where you have to spend like about 20 hours playing it before you can start automating anything.
My main advice for that, for Factorio, get gun turrets early, set them up early. They don't require power. Just leave them. Just have them dotted around your base because the bugs will come and they will start to come in force.
So they're a cheap defense resource, relatively cheap, right?
I typically have them automated producing just in the background early on. So.
Okay, right. That's a good tip. All right, thank you. All right then, let's quit there then. So next time we'll be going back to a regular sort of movie. No particular title or anything. It's one of those ones. One of the ones we used to do all the time. So bye from me.
Bye.